gonna knock over the freaking water.
Yep. Well, let's switch things up a little bit. All right, guys. Don Mahmoud here. Decision 168. I have Chris Thomas, longtime friend with In City Magazine. We've been talking about quite a few things, over a long period of time. Chris and I have known each other for close to 20 years now.
Yeah.
And this being 2020, the time is right.
Man, 2020.
Yeah, 2020, 20 years.
Yeah.
Ready to go. So Vision 2020.
It gives 20 a whole new meaning to me.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don's like a brother from another mother. I mean, when we first met, it was like we kicked it off almost immediately, and it was crazy. You know, his birthday is February the 1st. My birthday is February 28th. Even though we come from...
You get an extra day this month?
The 29th. Yeah. Even though we were raised in two different parts of the world, the thing about it is it seems like, we connected, we just automatically gel. It's like brothers from a different mother. So,
yep.
I mean, he's more than friends. Like he's actually family, to me. So, yeah.
I appreciate that. And going back and forth, we've been talking about a lot of different things that we wanted to do together. Chris and I think our initial project was when I was doing Eclectic Jeans clothing company, and he was the director of marketing for us, and we put together some shows in Las Vegas and the Atlanta Apparel Market, and then Cobb Gallery and such. But we had talked about a project. If I remember correctly, it was it had some kind of Eminem play to it. It's Mughals in the Making, and we never really got around to it because when you're running a business, you come up with so many different ideas. We'll do this, we'll do that. But what happens is things kind of take a different direction. Kind of like, it took me a while to get the Decision 168 started, but that's, a separate topic. So I think that's what we're going to talk about a little bit, about how we were talking about things and how you get kind of sidetracked, and then you want to kind of coordinate your efforts to not only have the not only have the idea part of it, but it's in the execution. So that's what you want to focus on. How do you get to that, and how do you utilize manpower, technology, and utilize those things to your advantage? Nowadays a lot of people don't understand, or maybe they do understand. That's why you're seeing a lot more millionaires, up and coming. They're utilizing social media, YouTube, Facebook. I think when we were working on the clothing line, we didn't have, those advantages.
Man, I think was MySpace around 20 years ago?
MySpace was around.
Yeah.
I don't think it was around 20 years ago, but MySpace was around because I remember when I finally started getting around to using it, I got up to maybe like 4,000 or 5,000 followers, and next thing you know, here comes Facebook. I was like, oh man, I got to go through all this. Yeah. And I was so hesitant to get into the Facebook piece too.
Well, Facebook, everyone couldn't get on. You had to be invited.
Right.
Yeah, and you had to get an invite to get onto Facebook.
Right.
Because it was a college.
I think it was 2004 when it came out.
Yeah, it was a college type of interaction net program. And so if someone from your college invited you to get on to Facebook, and then all of a sudden they were probably in their, not knowing where the future was going to hold, they were probably in their research and development phase of it anyway.
Right.
And so, hey, let's see if this thing's going to work. And then they all of a sudden just, blew it open for everyone to get on and just open the floodgates.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if we had access to those tools like a lot of the folks do today, oh my God. I mean, when we were doing shows with V103 and Ludacris, I think it was known as Chris Level at that time. Mm-hmm. And then he did some shows, and we dressed him up, Akon, a few other
Jeezy.
Yeah, Jeezy. We did the
Snowman.
Snowman, and that was it Soul Survivor video?
Yeah,
Soul Survivor video. So quite a few things back in the days, and then we were still able to utilize the skills that Chris had and the connections that were there to get that brand out being with was it the Houston Rockets,
Yeah.
Kevin Willis, I
Yeah.
believe, with the Hawks. They came by our booth at the Magic Show. So we did a lot of things that basically we didn't take advantage of properly at those times. But I think now the time is right. Chris is using his energies in City Magazine, based in Alabama, Mobile, Alabama.
All over, man.
All over. Okay.
So-
Yeah. So, but I know he's got in City Magazine not only in Alabama, but he's got tell them a little bit about the different cities you have.
Well-
I know it was like in City Atlanta, in City
Yeah,
Charlotte,
yeah.
also.
So it was the concept of it was, we would, have a presence in all the southern, southeastern, metropolitan markets. And, first market was Atlanta. It was in Atlanta.
Right.
Then, hometown for me is Montgomery.
Right. Montgomery.
So
Alabama.
from Montgomery, born and raised, and so we decided to do what's called In Montgomery. Then that was going well, and then we, because of another mentor of mine, Peter Thomas, who was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, at that particular point, he was about to open up what's called Bar One in Charlotte. So he said, "Hey, Chris, I know you have Atlanta and a few other places." He said you thought about doing something called Charlotte, in Charlotte. So at that point, I hadn't even thought about it. But so because of his encouragement and suggestion, we decided to launch in Charlotte, which popped,
Okay,
as well.
okay.
So that's how that happened. And then we developed, some other areas of, for us, Alabama, as far as Birmingham and Mobile and Jacksonville, Florida, and New Orleans and everything else. But see, this is where the mistake that we made. The mistake that we made was, okay, we got up to one point 8 different websites.
Okay.
All right. So 8 different websites, and trying to manage 8 different websites, making sure the content was stayed up to date
Relevant for each city.
for each particular city, day after day, was a challenge, to say
Right,
the
right.
least. So the in city concept came. We had to stay consistent with the brand, because we had the N, and then we had, we had all these cities. I'm like, okay, well, how do we, scale? We talk about scaling all the time. How do we scale? How do we, set it up to where we're not overworking ourselves, making better use of the energy that we were putting into it?
Right.
And so we came up with, let's call it In City.
I think that's a very good concept, because most of the time folks are, kind of paying attention to the A markets,
Yeah.
kind of forget the B markets, and then
That was exactly what we were doing.
right,
Because look at A markets. For instance, remember when we had all these events that were going on with Eclectic, right?
right.
All right.
Well,
so-
that's what I'm talking about with the B markets. When we hit it, all these colleges were doing the step shows, the fashion
Yeah.
shows, and everything,
Yeah.
getting engaged grassroots level. That's what I think really was working well for us.
It was.
Yep.
But you remember, it was no challenge in A markets getting partners with the Hennessy's, the different vodkas, and everything else. They gravitated towards the A markets. The challenge was as far as getting the right type of media and presence and partners in some of those B and C markets.
Right.
And so that was the concept of, but see, there's money in the B markets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's money that people, they want to feel, they are influenced
Included,
by
yeah.
the A markets, but they feel like they feel left out.
Right.
So that was the target, is to be able to get all of the surrounding A markets that were surrounding the Atlanta area that were being influenced. So at that particular point, Charlotte was becoming an influence. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Then New Orleans is still an influence as well. It's a huge tourist town,
Right.
as well, and they have professional basketball and football teams there as well. So that was exactly the concept, is to gather all of these B markets and to have a presence, with them, as
Okay.
well. So that's exactly the reason.
All
why.
before social media.
Yeah,
by the way.
all before social media.
All before that.
Yeah.
So where are you at now? What are you doing now? So we kind of talked about where we came from, what we were doing. Let's kind of delve into where we're at now. So tell me about.
Yeah,
sure that you-
it's flying solo
Thank
and
you, by
sync.
the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Flying solo and sync. It's the concept of it is entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
It's you and I both know when it comes down to doing things on your own,
Right.
solo. I mean,
Right.
you have to do everything.
I have a saying that I say to my spouse all the time is like, brightest stars shine alone. So sometimes you have to be alone to do what you need to do. And then that said, you have to build a team. There's no way you can really scale or grow any business without a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something about building a team. My belief is that you attract a team.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's we could talk about that on another episode. But so flying solo and sync is the concept of it is individual entrepreneurs who are great at what they do. They're bold,
Mm-hmm.
they're courageous, but they're flying solo.
Right.
So it's a solo entrepreneur. They're flying solo. They had to take the leap,
Right,
and
right.
to do that. And sync is but they're in sync about what they're doing and the
Okay.
steps that they're taking. Everything is they are in sync with what they're doing. However, they're also adaptable, and flexible,
Right,
as
right.
well. So it's not going to be easy to knock them off. If they knock off course, they're going to soon get back.
You got to stay the course.
Get back on course. So
you never lose unless you quit.
that's your saying. We all have our own, sayings that we like and appreciate.
Yeah.
But that's the pretty all concept of it. And then, from a philanthropic standpoint, it's I learned about myself that the reason why that was holding me back, my own internal battles
Mhm.
that I was having was as a result of me being bullied. So I had to uncover some layers, pull back some layers to figure out what was holding me back internally. And my internal, battle was I was bullied at a very young age,
Mhm.
more so socially. So that is what I found out. And so portion of the proceeds, of Flying Solo and Sync, we have catchphrases. So we're not getting ready, we stay ready, for
Right.
everything. This is I am magnificent, I am brilliant, I'm a beast, however you want to say I am for that particular day.
Right.
So a portion of the proceeds go to help young people who are victims of bullying,
Okay.
to help them socially, and to help them to be courageous.
Nice.
As well.
Yeah, that actually kind of hits close. You and I talked about that
Yeah.
a while ago too.
Yeah.
But again, that'll
Yeah.
be something else we'll talk
Yeah.
about.
Now tell me about the decision. 168.
So Decision 168, obviously 24/7, 365 is very
Yeah.
popular, but 168 is actually the number of hours we have in a day, and that can actually be broken down to even smaller because you have to realize the decisions that we make take us to where we want to go. It's those choices that we consciously make. There's a concept, a 1090 concept. I forget who I need to credit. I'll credit them in the comments or something. But the concept is life is 10% of what you do, and then 90% is how you react to what other people do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody comes up to you, like you're talking about the bullying piece, you at that point you have the decision to make that, okay, are you going to let it affect you in a negative way or in a positive way? So the 90-20 rule is just by being proactive. The 168 is to focus on, okay, you have 168 hours. You can plan your days out every single day to what you need to do. And then you kind of just identify where the holes are, how much time you actually have, and what you're being productive with. Kind of like weight loss. When you count your calories and what you need to do, what you don't need to do, how much you need to eat, how much you don't need to eat. Don't eat sugars. Don't eat. It's just like that with the time, because weight loss, you can lose weight, you can gain weight, going back and forth. I'm not knocking that as good. I actually need to focus on that myself too. But time is something you're never getting back. Once it's gone, like
what you talking about.
I have a separate video I'm going to be putting out about why Decision 168, but in order for anyone to understand, you have to understand the why. I had an uncle that was very close to me. He passed away at 42. He was homeless most of his life, even though having a huge family and everything. I don't. Sometimes you don't get the support that's needed at the time when it's needed. So, when later on in life, when him and I were kind of together, he was staying with us for quite some time, and then off and on, because he would just kind of disappear. But he told me all these great stories. Like, for someone that was homeless, he had traveled pretty much all over the world. Guam, Pakistan, Mexico, all over the United States. He told me this really funny story one time. Like, he's in the streets, and then he sees a limo, and this is in California, Hollywood, I think. And he sees a limo with the window open. He just reaches in there and grabs a bottle of champagne out and starts drinking it. Bodyguard comes, hey, what are you doing? Da, da, da. Turns out it's Hannibal from the A-Team. I forget the actor's name. You remember the actor's name?
I can't remember. Yeah.
But he's the one that says, I love it when a plan comes together. So that was just one of the stories. So his personality was so amazing that he could talk to someone at the lowest level, whatever that job may be, and then he could talk to someone at the highest level of any company without any hesitation, without any problems, anything like that. And it was so great talking to him, and he was so relatable, and he could connect with anyone. So, needless to say, he was my favorite uncle. But he passed away by a heart attack at the age of 42.
Wow.
And
how old were you?
Let's say I've made it 2 years older than him now. I don't even remember. This maybe like 5 or 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And see, the problem that I have when I was, talking to him about doing all this is like the show was supposed to be called Raja for Real. Raja means prince. And the way he was so real, I wanted to call that YouTube show Raja for Real. And then we would just sit and talk and let him tell the stories, and we would go back and forth. But I was so busy with work that I was like, hey, you know what? We'll do it next week. We'll do it here. We'll do it then. And he was really excited about doing it too. So
you were going to set up something like
like what we're doing right now. And but again, I was so busy with I got to make sure the paper's coming in, this, that, whatever, So we ended up not really following through on that in a timely fashion. And then, he moved on, and the next thing I know, I get a call that, he's passed away. So I kept pushing myself. I was like, no. And then I kind of dropped it for a little while. And then even now, I got all of my equipment and everything ready, started making the scripts and concepts and everything. So we have a lot of content that's being put together for the audience, whoever wants to listen to it. A lot of it be inspirational, how to just get going, motivation, the business, not only business, but life hurdles that you'll face, and then you have to overcome that and keep pushing forward. I've founded maybe like 5 or 6 different companies, maybe 7 different companies. A couple of them did well, a couple of them didn't do well, but that doesn't mean that you stop. Life goes on. You have to keep pushing, and knock on wood, wherever it's at. I'm doing well. I'm taking care of what I need to take care of. We have a test prep company that I run with Dr. Antara. It's called MedSmarter, and we prepare future physicians for their exams so they can start practicing here in the U.S. So once a person decides that they want to go into the medical field, we can help them with MCAT, which is Medical College Acceptance Test. USMLEs, once they're in medical school, they have to take United States Medical License exams. So there's multiple steps to that. Step 1, Step 2, CK, CS. CK is clinical skills. CK is clinical knowledge. CS is clinical skills. and then so forth. So all the way up through residency. Obviously, I'm not in medicine. I don't know anything about that, but we have very qualified professionals that work with us. They're MDs that run the academic portion of it, and I oversee the business side. And that's kind of how we're connecting up on the different projects.
The crazy thing about it, you were talking about 5 different businesses, over the period of years. I was doing some cleaning up, some weeks ago, right before leading into 2020, I was cleaning up my office.
Yeah.
And, I found a business card of the first business that I created, legal business. And what I mean by legal is that business license,
properly organized.
Yeah, properly organized. It was a legal business. It wasn't a hobby or anything like that. Filing taxes and everything else. It didn't. But the mistake that I made during the time was that it was a sole proprietorship. I didn't know jack about business. You know what I'm saying? Not from a legal standpoint.
I still don't. I'm learning every day. So
I mean, we were just talking earlier about shell corporations and holding companies. Just with another client, but I did know enough. I'm a third generation entrepreneur.
Okay.
So I had the drive, and I was already the type of individual I am. I'm already creative. Already. So. I saw my dad and I saw my grandparents on my dad's side and my mom's side who were also entrepreneurs as well.
Right.
Pretty much all of my uncles on my mom's side of the family were all entrepreneurs as well.
Right.
So it's in my blood. You know what I'm saying? So the first business that I created, I was still in high school, granted, and didn't quite understand the legal part of business, but I
How
knew.
old were you?
Man, I was about 17.
17?
Yeah.
Okay.
I started a business at 16.
Okay.
But about 17 was when I decided, hey, let me get a business license.
Right.
So got a business license. During the time, it was a sole proprietorship. The only saving grace was that I had insurance and everything else, which was, liability insurance. But anyway, the type of business it was, and I guess marketing is just in my blood or something like that. So I named it was a janitorial company. It was an easy startup, low startup capital. All it took for me to do is business license. I mean, I started the janitorial company at less than $500. All right.
Nice.
$500 of my own money.
Right.
So business license, first year, you only have to state, what you may make. You can lowball that, and then you'll make up for it for the following year. So business license and some business cards, and I had to have insurance, but and I named the business Dirt Penitentiary.
Okay.
Dirt Penitentiary, and the tagline was, "We're locking all the scum up."
Okay.
So I had a phone number, that was connected to my bedroom.
The whole wire.
Yeah, but it was a business line. It was a business line. It was connected to my bedroom at my parents' house. You know what I'm saying? So I paid for it, So I paid for it. And so, cell phones were too expensive at that particular point. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're talking about all the people who were having cell phones were,
you and I are about the same age, right?
Yeah, close to it.
Yeah, so if you're calculating right, back in those days, the phones were in a bag. They were kind of really
the bag
big.
phone. Yeah. Yep. And then at that particular point, they did have the handheld phone.
The brick.
Yep, the brick.
Made popular by Wall Street.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, those phones were like
Douglas.
$1,000. Well, phones are now about $1,000. You get the iPhone, but during the time, I mean, it could have been more than $1,000. But
in those
phones
times,
dropped down.
All it did was make a phone call. Now you have a camera, calculator. You have everything. Your social media, everything is. It's like a mini computer in your hand.
Man, this is what's so crazy is that the device that we're holding in our hands right now. The first rocket that was sent to outer space didn't have as much power as we're holding in our hand right now.
Are you serious?
Not at all.
Wow.
We're holding more power in our hands than sent the first rocket into outer space.
See,
it's crazy. And the thing about it is, we don't even use. Most people, the majority of people, don't even use 90% of what the cell phones capabilities are.
Right. I know. I have a huge learning curve of quite a few things that I need to figure out on it, because I'm usually using it for my obviously phone meetings and calendars and email checking and social media. But there's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
I remember.
But real quick, let me talk about. Let me just wrap it up real quick about dirt penny trenching.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
And the crazy thing about it is that I would get some crazy phone calls. Right. I had one lady call. May I speak to? I can't remember the name. Joe. I'm like, who is Joe? In this so and so penitentiary. I'm like, sorry, man. This is a janitorial. We're a cleaning company. But then I looked in the phone book and called 411. It was calling the penitentiary, and they were called because it was dirt penitentiary. That's how we were labeled.
Right.
And so I had a little logo that was made. I had a buddy of mine. He was great from a cartoonist, so he made this little creature that looked like some creature from who knows
pull
where.
That out.
Man, I think I have it on my phone. I'll show it to you later. But I had a little creature, and on his leg was a ball that was like he was locked up.
Right. And
so I took a picture of it, and so I could say I'm actually going to post it, on social media, at some point. So, but yeah, that was a long time ago. But it's something how, using the creativity and taking a chance, man. You know what I'm saying? Not allowing fear to hold you back.
Right.
But letting it actually inspire
and I think
you
it's
to
usually
take to the next level.
It's ourselves that's holding us back rather than anything else, pretty much, because we're afraid of what other people may think, or we're afraid of maybe this won't work, or the fear of failure. But if you don't try, you've already failed, no?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Man, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
So Don and I, this is, officially In City Magazine meets Decision 168. We're going to be doing this maybe every 30, 60 days or so, and we'll post up on our individual platforms, that we have as well. So, I know you have everything on.
Oh yeah, at Real Don Mahmood. At RealDonMahmood.
And you'll see that
Decision 168.
We'll have that all at the bottom.
Yep.
My personal is at It's C Thomas, ITS CTHOMAS. And man, this is.
I don't have a personal. Mine's all. This is it.
Well, personal. That's my business one. So I mean, you know how it is. But man, this has been. This went better than I thought it was going to go.
Yeah, you know what? I know it kind of come close to that, but I'm really glad we finally got to sit down and do it, rather than, we got to get this production value up and make sure all these pieces that are usually there need to be in place. But hey, getting started is, I think, majority of it. It's only uphill from here, right?
And just imagine how it's going to be when this whole thing grows. You know what I'm saying? But we still want to keep the authenticity of it. I know I just jacked that word up, but got a little tongue tied.
Authenticity?
Authenticity.
Yeah.
But man, this has been wonderful. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go ahead and put this on my podcast too, at least the audio of it. So obviously the audio will be full. We'll put that on the podcast, and then video will do what we need to do.
Yep.
For time constraints or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're at about 30 minutes. That's actually a good timing anyway. Yeah. So there was a lot of content information that people will be able to actually use.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We introduced what we're doing, and we're sharing our expertise and the challenges that we've gone through, the hurdles. So that people who are listening and tuning in, you don't have to make the same mistakes. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go through the trial and error. We've already been through it. We've won. We've lost.
Yep.
And we lost. I mean, we lost severely. We lost almost everything. You know. So, but I was reading.
But the knowledge that we gained, that's not going anywhere. Anytime we want to start something, do something, it's nothing can stop us. You know, if you want to try something, boom, it can be done because that fear factor is not there, right?
You've already been there.
Yep.
You know what?
Exactly.
I mean, I've already been to the bottom. You
Yeah,
know,
I think recently I was reading is like when you get to a level of where you don't care what other people think,
Yeah.
you're very dangerous. I forget who said that. It might have been Will Smith, or you see a lot of these memes popping up and stuff like that. I'm sure we'll put a few out of our own too.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite ones that I put out is mine is like, it doesn't matter what they say, it only matters what you do. So focus on that. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. Do what you got to do.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you for tuning in. NC Magazine meets Decision 168.
Yep.
My brother from another mother, Don Mahmoud.
Yes, sir.
Good to see
Good
you.
talking to you, man.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll check you out next time. Have a fantastic day.